Nas X was silently canceled, and that's what probably led to all this.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Lil Nas X's career has been very interesting. He's a guy that's gotten a lot of attention by doing some very, very strange things. But as it appears, Lil Nas X's career might be coming to an end. And that all became apparent when Lil Nas X was walking down the street in Studio City in the early mornings of August 21st with shoes and underwears. And then basically he took those things off and was walking around naked. Now, obviously, once he was walking around naked, the police tried to detain him, and then he was assaulting officers. He was later taken to the hospital after suspecting a drug overdose. All right, now the whole internet is weighing in on the situation.
So Lil Nas X was seen walking down the street in Los Angeles way early this morning in his white drawers, and then he attacked a cop. And then he was taken to the hospital for a psych eval, and then he was arrested and taken to jail. And the reason why I say that he was silently canceled is because, of course, Lil Nas X came out after he made his debut album. And then following that album, he released the song Montero, which he had a lot of symbolic shit in it. I mean, just everything was in that video. Then shortly after that, he had those little Nike Air Max shoes, which had a drop of human blood and the little air pocket part of it. And, a lot of people let that go. A lot of people supported Lil Nas X. They let it go. It was like, hey, it is what it is at that point.
Now, what this lady is saying is important. Lil Nas X had, certain gimmicks that he was using in tactics to get further in the industry. And a lot of people were supporting Lil Nas X, even though he came out as being gay. But then this happened.
But then in 2024, he came out with a new music video called J. Christ, in which he was on a cross and he mocked Jesus Christ himself. And he also had depictions of Lucifer in that video. And I think that's when people had it. They were done with the shock value. They were done with all of the crazy images that he was just so, pushing so hard to put out. And Lil Nas X EP, Days Before Dream Boy, which is supposed to precede his 2025 release second album, Dream Boy, didn't do too bad, but it didn't do as well as he anticipated. And it was rumored that Columbia Records wanted him to scrap the entire idea of his newly released album to come out in 2025. We don't even know if it's still coming out. Dream Boy, for whatever reasons, he's having some difficulties with the record label. But I think due to all of the antics that Lil Nas X had within the past 3.5 years, people just silently canceled him. They just silently, weren't entertained by all of the performative things that he was doing in order to gain and garner that attraction and that attention that he was trying to gain for himself.
Now, she's saying that, look, Lil Nas X, once he went with the J. Christ song, mocking Jesus, it really set a lot of people off. So what they believe is that Lil Nas X had a particular agenda. And what can be inferred in that is not, I'm not saying everybody thinks about this, but that Lil Nas X could be used to further a wider agenda, all right, within the group that he affiliates with. Let me just say that. So now people are equating Lil Nas X, all right, and then looking at his sexuality and saying, okay, there's a reason why this imagery could be coming out. And so what ended up happening was that after a while, in a lot of his tactics and Nike shoes and some of the demonic imagery, he just wasn't holding on as an artist anymore, right? And then, some of the very sexual things he was doing on his music videos, and people just got tired. However, there was a story of a young woman who ran into Lil Nas X earlier that day.
She was in the store with him, and he seemed a little off and a little out of it at that time. Long story short, what happened was she was talking to him. She had initially seen him just roaming the streets. She spoke to him, and then she met up with him. Well, not met up with him, but she caught him in the store. So yeah, she said, I'm about to get that content, get that footage. Let me talk to him. So then he gets to speaking on God, and then she gets to speaking on God. But I believe that they was talking about two different guys. And the crazy thing is, when she mentioned Jesus Christ, he got up out of there and he dismissed her quick.
Now, according to the woman, she was talking to Lil Nas X about Jesus Christ. And at that particular time, as soon as he heard that name, he was instantly fleeing. Now, here is what I kind of think about this. I don't have proof. So number one, Lil Nas X is charged with 4 felonies, and assaulting police officers is never going to go well. But what is probably true is that the jig is up, all right? And many people, not just entertainers, are used to promote certain ideologies. We could talk about it in politics. Look at what's going on with Brandon Johnson out in Chicago. It is safe to say that Brandon Johnson has asked people in the city of Chicago less than a 20% approval rating. But Brandon Johnson is adamant in protecting immigrants, all right? Illegal immigrants that take money from the citizens of Chicago, most notably Black American citizens. We can look at what's going on with Karen Bass, who is part Latino, but more Black than anything, in her dedication to protect illegal immigrants also. Every Black Democratic city has an allegiance to immigrants. Well, what happens to these leaders? Their loyalty to policies is what undermines their career, okay? It undermines their career. And they become very hated post their career. And they have no other opportunities and they are left out to dry. Look at Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard in Dalton. Don't get me wrong, Tiffany Henyard was definitely doing way too damn much. But again, Democratic Party, strong supporter of Joe Biden, all right? Black and brown coalition, always talking about that, okay? And so what happens once you are no longer in the seat? Nobody cares about you. It's the same thing with these rappers, singers. If you're not good, you don't really provide any real value, and all you do is gimmicks, and then it's predictable, and you're not trying to improve on your craft, then you get discarded. And so then nobody cares about you. And that's what Lil Nas X is what happened. He over-sexualized himself, all right? Now you're probably stressed out. You're on drugs, drugs, whatever, right? And now you're falling off. And silently, you were canceled probably by, people just that didn't like the fact that you disrespected Jesus, but then maybe by the other group or whoever else you might be, could be working for or spreading an agenda for. I don't have any proof of that, but let's just say for that. And then you're seeing that, hey, you're on your own now. Lil Nas X is on his own. So what is Lil Nas X going to do? And this is the problem with selling out, all right? So many people think selling out to the industry and doing what I think is going to get to the bag is what's going to work. What's going to work is actually being good, okay? If you're Kanye West and you do what Lil Nas X is doing, the reason why it works if you're Kanye West is one of the best producers in hip hop circa the last 20 years. He's been exceptionally good. College Dropout, Blueprint. I mean, he's the gold standard. So when Kanye West does something that doesn't make any sense, okay, he could be trolling. But if you look at him as a producer in the industry, a fashion designer, he's top tier in those things. That's why people buy Yeezys at that price at a certain time, because of who he is. Now, when you're a person that's just trolling all the time, and then you fall into your own situation, and then now all of a sudden you're out walking around naked. Oh, see, that works on your music videos, but not in the public. And it comes to a point where people just can't protect you anymore. And now you got to fend for yourself. And so now people don't answer the phone like they used to. Man, the industry is fake. I would say the industry is so weird. People like you one minute, hate you the next, right? People move where the opportunities is. Very few folks are down for you. And that's probably what he's seeing. Now that you're on the decline, things ain't happening like you want to. Now you're out here down bad, you're on stuff, and them people, they didn't use you, or whoever, your label didn't use you. Now you're down bad. And now you're out here walking around booty clapping it up in LA with no protection, high as hell, down bad, assaulting cops, and you just think, oh, I'm a celebrity. Somebody gonna help me. I can get out of this. Until you can't. Everything works until you can't. I had a situation with this guy, man, a while back. think I told you a story, but I was working with him in a bigger deal. He was used for the company I was trying to work with on a partnership. He was used to stealing from the company, okay? So what he would do is he would come in and let's say you do some work, right? He would come in and he was like, oh, this is great. He would attach himself to your project. He would get all your data and he would claim your project behind your back as his in build the company, right? And he would go around just stealing people's works, ideas all the time. Did it for years until somebody snitched on him, all right? What he didn't know was they had the WhatsApp metadata. They had the fact that, here's what he was doing. Here's when he was doing it. They had emails. They had all kind of evidence that he left. And this extra side stuff that he was doing was making him hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And the guy is going around like a company guy. He's on the news. And then until they caught his ass, right? And then now, once they found out what he was doing, he was now useless to the world. And so he never expected that he would get dropped for that. He thought that he would be protected by his friends. Oh, okay, I have this problem, but my friends can help me. No, your friends can't help you when it's the corporation, international, that find out about it. Now you got to pay for that. And that's exactly what happened. And right now, that guy is fighting for his life. Down bad, fighting for his life. Friends that he used to have ain't there no more. The relationships in this community he used to have ain't there no more. Everybody is down bad now. He's mad. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shady Jackson, back at it again. Another episode of the Celebrity Jack. Richard, before you just heard the bell, we're out.